If you're looking into building your very first PC, or if you're looking for some extra insight on what to avoid when building a new PC, then stick around because in this video, I'll walk you through 5 mistakes that kill your performance or value. The very first one is going to be imbalanced component choices. Now, balance is essential when picking out new parts for your PC, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen while scrolling through Reddit or heard someone pairing a top-of-the-line CPU like the 9800X3D with a lower-end GPU like a 5060 or 5060 Ti. Now, the 9800X3D goes for around $450 and is pretty much the best gaming CPU in the market, and it pairs really well with the top-of-the-line GPUs like a 5080 or 5090, which cost much beyond that. So it's definitely overkill for a build with a 5060 in it. Now think of your CPU and GPU like a team. The CPU is going to calculate the physics and the game logic, and it's going to tell the GPU what to draw. So if your CPU is sprinting at 200 miles an hour, but your GPU can only draw at 60 miles an hour, your CPU is going to be literally sitting waiting around for the graphics card to catch up. So in this case, you've paid $450 for the processor to sit idle. Now the reverse is true as well. A 5090 paired with an entry-level CPU means that your GPU is starved for data and is trapped at 40% usage, so you're not getting all of the FPS that you could be getting out of it, and you might even see stuttering. Now in a gaming PC, the GPU is going to be your main priority, so you'll want to allocate more of your hard-earned dollars towards it, since it's going to significantly boost your frames and your experience in games. So in cases like this, swap out that 9800X3D for a 9600X or 7600X3D and put the difference towards a better GPU like the 5070 or 9070XT. And this goes both ways. So if you splurge on a top-tier GPU like a 5080 or 5090, don't cheap out on the processor because a weak CPU is going to hold back that powerful graphics card and you're not going to get everything that you've paid for in terms of performance. Now, another massive place to optimize in this section is the motherboard. You don't need a top-of-the-line $300+ board for gaming. This is usually focused on advanced support for things like multiple Gen 5 SSDs, which don't improve your gaming performance at all. So the best choice for most people at the moment is a solid B850 motherboard, and there are multiple options for as low as $150 right now. So all the savings that you're going to make in these sections, you're going to put towards your GPU as well to get a better performance overall. Now, the second mistake I often see is picking the wrong power supply unit or spending the wrong amount of money on a power supply unit. Now, I see far too many builds with F tier or D tier PSUs paired with really expensive components. And I'll tell you right now, cheaping out on the PSU is probably a bad idea because it's largely responsible for the safety of your PC components. Now to solve this, you're going to go through a couple of steps. First, just search for the minimum required PSU wattage for your graphics card. For example, for a 5070 Ti, that would be 750 watts, and that would be good enough, but I always aim to add another 100 watts of headroom. So in this case, that would be 850 watts. Now from here, you're going to need to use the PSU tier list. This is extremely important because it contains all the different power supply units from different brands and the expert tier rating on them. So this is what you'll use to pick the right PSU for you. Now, when you look at the PSU tier list, it's going to look like a giant spreadsheet, which can be a little bit intimidating for your first time, but don't worry because I'll walk you through that. Now ignore any experimental sections of the sheet and go straight to the main list. And then you can look under the brands column. So just because it says Corsair, for example, doesn't mean that it's a tier A automatically. You're going to have to check the exact model number under each of the brands that you're interested in. And you're going to see power supplies sitting in different tiers from A all the way to F. Now, if anything is labeled F or E, I would highly recommend you completely avoid that. And for a high-end build, I would always go for an A tier. And if you're more on a budget, I would never recommend going below a B or C tier PSU. So whatever PSU you're thinking of, come here first and make sure that the model number that it's under is of that rating before you buy it. Now, the third mistake is what I think of as the aesthetics trap. Don't get me wrong, I love aesthetic PCs, and looking at all of the amazing components out there these days, like those beautiful curved screens and those amazing mirror fans from Lee. But if you're working with a specific budget, I would recommend you pick the GPU and CPU combo first, as well as a highly rated PSU that is within your budget, before diving into the looks of your PC. That's going to give you a much better idea about the real amount that you're working with, and you'll ensure that RGB and screens are not killing your performance, although I know RGB feels like more horsepower sometimes. Now, the fourth item we're going to talk about is forcing AM5 and DDR5 when your budget is lower than $8,000. Now look, I know this was possible last year, but it's tough today. For less than $1,000, you won't have fun with today's RAM and storage prices. Currently, if you're at that budget, you're better off building an AM4 system with DDR4 RAM, and you're probably able to build a better system at that price with much less headaches on how you pick your components. Now, the last mistake we'll talk about is trying not to buy components too far apart. Now, I know sometimes there are deals that are too hard to pass up, and you end up grabbing one component, like the GPU, for example. But if you end up doing that, then I always recommend you grab everything else you need pretty quickly and get to building. Most retailers are going to give you a short return window, so it would be great if you could build the system and test out the parts within that period to make sure that everything is running smoothly and to avoid having to RMA something or wait too long for that RMA to go through. Now, with that being said, don't be too quick to judge if your system doesn't boot up right away. Make sure that you go through a lot of troubleshooting steps with your parts. For example, a very common mistake that first builders make is the RAM can be not seated properly, so the PC won't start, for example. So look for those things like the RAM not seated properly, GPU not seated properly, any cables that are not seated properly, things like that before you go and judge kind of the RMA process right away. So just make sure that you go through the build process very well first, and then kind of have that option to return if you need to and if something is not working properly. Now, if you want to know more about how to optimize your PC after you've built it to get the best performance and run games like Battlefield 6, check out my BIOS and drivers guide video that I'll have linked down below. And I also have a full PC guide build for my own personal custom PC, so you can check that out as well if you're looking for a full PC build guide. So overall, if you're ever in doubt about parts fitting together, use PC Part Picker. It'll automatically flag wattage issues, physical clearance limits for your CPU cooler, and your motherboard compatibility as well. But I want to hear from you guys. If you've built a PC before, what are the biggest mistakes that you've made on your first try? Let me know down in the comments so we can save some first-time builders from a headache. Now, don't forget to drop a like if this saved you some cash. And if this video helped you, also make sure to subscribe so you can keep up with the content and support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.